let's get into the our last thing, which is fantasy. The fantasy sleepers that we have for this week.
You
I'm
know,
gonna
you said you were gonna do sleepers, so I've got you can say the one sleeper that I had that we had the same. I got some situms.
You got some situms. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
we are gonna do starts and sits too. So you're gonna do your situms.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Oh, wait, I can. Here, I'll go first with a
Okay.
few of mine. So I have a few that are kind of obvious, and then I have a few little more obscure ones. Uh, an obvious one is Blake Bortles. If you don't have Blake Bortles and he's available, pick up Blake Bortles. Just trust me on this one. Even if you have a quarterback, even if you have a Brady Rogers or someone like that, pick him up anyways, and use him as trade bait maybe. Because even if he's using a roster spot, you want him there. He has been putting up consistent in the 20s past few weeks, so he's awesome. And another guy is another obvious guy is Martavis Bryant. I think a lot of people dropped him during the suspension. Like, what is this rookie? Well, 1 year veteran prove to us that I should keep him through these 4 games, and they just dropped him. So, like, he's available in a lot of leagues, and he had a huge game, and I think he will continue to have a huge season. Pick him up if he's available. And Michael Floyd. Now, I say start if you have 3 Cardinals receivers. If you had Fitzgerald, and you had John Brown, and you had Michael Floyd, I'd say start all of them. They're going against the Baltimore defense, and they are just going to tear it up there. So Michael Floyd has a 60% availability in ESPN leagues. I say take him and start him immediately, especially if you don't have good receiving options. And I have a few more, but we'll let Luke get into his synonyms.
Okay. And so, I mean, the number one, this one's pretty obvious because he's not going to even be fully healthy if he does start. Marcus Mariota, and I'm not just saying that. It just so happens to be that I think you sit Mariota this week if you can because he has a hurt knee from what a lot of people think is where it was a cheap play. So,
I've watched it a few times, and like it goes either way. And when you're rushing at a quarterback trying to sack him,
yeah.
you just tackle it.
Like I'm not saying it wasn't cheap, but I'm also just saying welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, welcome to the NFL, Rook.
Yeah, exactly. And so I say you sit Mariota against the Falcons. And then I think you just at this point, if you've had Jordan Matthews for a while, you gotta stop relying on him because he really hasn't had a big game yet. And with Sam Bradford throwing to him, I don't believe in Sam Bradford. Jordan Matthews has not lived up to what everyone thought he was going to be.
Honestly, if you have any Eagles receivers other than Jordan Matthews, maybe like Nelson Aguilar, Josh Huff, Riley Cooper, I'd say drop all those guys. Maybe keep Jordan Matthews, but drop the others. It's not worth it right now.
hmm And this one's pretty obvious too. I don't think this guy's owned in a lot of leagues, but the Crockett Gilmore, he's a Baltimore Ravens tight end, and you're not gonna want to start him if you have him against the Cardinals, because the Cardinals have not allowed a touchdown to an opposing tight end throughout this entire season, and the Cardinals are gonna have the ball a lot that game because they're gonna freaking tear it up.
And the thing with him is I was looking through him when I was doing my waiver selections, and he he's like he had the 1 20-point game, and then he just kind of trickled. And I
hmm
feel like he's one of those players that has the one big game, and then you just think he's gonna repeat, and you start him for 4 weeks, and he's not producing. So you're just like, well, what
Yeah.
do I do now?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Great.
that's that's pretty sucky. I have a few more sleepers here. Willie Snead, if you still haven't picked him up, he's still available in 36% of ESPN leagues. I'd pick him up if he's available. Ben Watson had a big week, and I think he will continue to be an option. Drew Brees loves his tight ends, but like ever since Jimmy Graham left, he hasn't had a good option. But I think Ben Watson gives him that option, especially in the red zone when they don't have many red zone threat receivers. So I think he's gonna get a lot of targets in the red zone and a lot more catches. I think he's gonna average around 6 to 8 catches a game, which for a tight end is pretty good. And I also have Brandon LaFell. I'm not sure if I said him, but he's coming off an injury for the Patriots, and I think he is a great pickup because if you don't know, Brandon LaFell last year had a really good end of the season. Was hurt for the first portion of this season, but I think he comes out and performs as the kind of number 2 option behind Edelman, 3 if you count Gronk, which you probably should count Gronk. But yeah, I think he's a good option, a good flex play if you don't have any others, or a good receiver play if you're on bye week hell. And
That
then
was
we
me last week. Yeah, I actually I put in a waiver wire in our league too because I have Aaron Rodgers this week and he has a bye, so I was looking to get Blake Bortles. Mhm.
it's a solid pickup. And then Stephon Diggs, who, if you don't have him, or if no one has him in your league, he still has great availability. He's the number 1 receiver down there in Viking land, Minnesota, and he's really good. His route running is great. He's a great playmaker, and he looks really promising, young guy, and I think he'd be a good fantasy pickup if you haven't already. Do you have any other sleepers or?
No, that's fine.
And that's all you got.
If I just have to throw one out there, Amir Abdullah. I'd jump off his bandwagon.
Oh, that's a yeah. Don't start me here. There's Theo Reddick now in the mix there, and there's Joakim Bell. I'm not sure if he's healthy or still alive, but
Oh, he's dead, dude.
but
How rude of you.
Theo Reddick would actually be a decent pickup especially if you're in a PPR league. He is a great pickup. So yeah, that's just